Myself, Dr. Kamini Mittal. I am a guest faculty at the Center of Food Technology, University of Allahabad, and here I am presenting before you Module 2 of Paper 8, which is a paper on women in health. The title of this module is Women's Health, a Human Rights Perspective, and it has been authored by Dr. Nalini Tandon, former medical superintendent, ESIC hospitals. What do we mean by health? Health, as defined by the World Health Organization, is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. The reader will do well to keep this definition in mind throughout the study of this module, as each aspect of the human rights discussed will impact one or the other part of this definition. Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, irrespective of nationality, race, color, caste, religion, sex, language or economic status. They protect every individual against any action that will lead to the breach of their freedom, dignity, health and liberty to lead a happy and healthy life. Countries normally incorporate these rights into their constitutions and guarantee them legally. Human rights are universally applied and they are indivisible, interrelated and interdependent. Violation of even one right affects other rights in practice. Now, human rights regarding women. Human rights are commonly understood as being those rights that are inherent to all human beings. They protect every individual against any action that will lead to the breach of their freedom, dignity, health and liberty to lead a happy and healthy life. Human rights of women must be promoted and protected in order to address the underlying determinants of health, including the empowerment of individuals and communities, to respond to health challenges and for ensuring equitable, effective delivery of services. Whereas this is true for every individual, however, this is especially relevant in the context of the female sex because violation of human rights takes place to a very large extent in respect of women. What is the UN Declaration of Human Rights? Legally, women enjoy the same rights as men. However, some countries and cultures may have a few different social and religious regulations. For the purpose of health of women, the most relevant rights are the rights to freedom of speech, thought and privacy, rights to education, health, maternity benefits, safety and security, and rights to liberty, equality as well as marriage with consent. This is part of the UN Declaration of Human Rights 1948. This declaration has 30 articles addressing 30 human rights. Equally important are rights to freedom from cruelty, food, clothing and lodging, and economic independence. Despite the legal protection, many human rights are violated in respect of women. This is true to some extent in respect of all countries, but applies very largely to women of the developing nations. Human rights violation affect the health of women. Although women legally enjoy all the rights imparted to men, in practice there is discrimination leading to lower status and denial of rights affecting the health of women and public health as a whole. Violation of human rights poses the problem of health challenges in respect of women. This in turn spills over to societies and nations that are therefore unable to progress. Health also signifies the social welfare of populations and not merely the treatment or absence of disease. Social welfare comes with equal rights and equal opportunities. Health is the outcome of a combination of factors: biological, genetic, environmental, and socio-economic. Social welfare will come with equal rights, ensuring that all of the above mentioned factors result in healthy, happy women. At the individual level, women are often conditioned to suffer low self-esteem, to accept an inferior status as natural, and to find in the birth of daughters a source of failure, apology, and distress. This is very sad. Rights to education, freedom of speech, privacy, and economic freedom. All these are discussed here together as one is interlinked with the other. Knowledge brings awareness and leads to emancipation. This power becomes a tool for women to voice their thoughts and opinion, to become economically independent by earning a living, to gain insights into the various medical facilities available for them and the children, and most importantly, to think and act as well as rebel against any wrongdoing. When right to education is denied, women are not able to gain knowledge about health matters. They are not able to voice opinion and protest, not able to practice and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Women who are healthy build a healthy society. When they remain mired in the age-old traditions and beliefs without access to the advancements being made around them, they affect the society. The health of a woman who remains uneducated is thus affected because she has no knowledge of the sources of health, how to practice and maintain a healthy lifestyle, or earn money to maintain their health. They become economically dependent, extend and perpetuate the unhealthy lifestyle in respect of their children and daughters-in-law. So we find that not only a few women, but an entire society's health is at stake. Lack of education not only hinders the economic development, but also prevents women from acquiring thinking and analyzing powers. Hence, they are not able to practice contraception. They are thus caught in a cycle of ignorance, ill health, and poverty. Educated women, however, ensure the education of their female offspring, thus perpetuating a healthy tradition, ensuring happy and fruitful societies. If we see at the growth of students' enrollment in higher education, we find that the enrollment of girls is much less than that of the boys. Girls who aren't educated have higher rates of HIV. They have higher rates of infant mortality. They have lower wages. This all impacts not just the individual girls, but their families, their communities, and entire nation. This was the view of Michelle Obama. Not being economically independent brings further problems. Those who perform domestic and childcare work in their own homes are frequently regarded as unemployed and ineligible for non-monetary benefits related to paid employment such as occupational health and safety. Girls who are not educated are unemployed. They earn lower wages, often in menial labor. Those who perform only domestic work are treated as unemployed and get no social benefits like occupational safety and health. They suffer from high rates of low birth weight babies, They suffer from infant mortality and also maternal mortality and morbidity. They are also afflicted at higher rates with chronic diseases like HIV, like tuberculosis, and they also undergo repeated pregnancies. We can talk now about the right to access to reproductive health care. Reproductive health implies that people have the ability to reproduce, to regulate their fertility. It finally implies that women can go safely through pregnancy and childbirth, that fertility regulation can be achieved without health hazards. Although sex is determined by genes and biology, but women are devalued due to material interests, and that is a very sorrowful state. Since women go to the husband's house after marriage, they are not earning members, and so money spent on them is considered a wasteful expenditure. They are thus denied access to health care. Their babies are delivered locally in unhygienic conditions, and they also suffer from complications. Their disadvantages spiral downwards as they are liable to die due to pregnancy. Infertility contributes to their devaluation, and devaluation contributes to poor health and further liability to illness and premature death. If we see at the figures of female infanticide in the world, unfortunately, India ranks second, just below China. Again, this is a very sorry state of affairs. Right to safety, liberty, dignity, and freedom from torture and slavery are rights which we are talking about together. Women are soul prostitutes, abducted forcefully, and subjugated to undergo economic slavery. They suffer from intimate partner violence, mental and physical torture, and deaths due to dowry demands. They are raped by family members or by outsiders, often brutally, but still it is they who are blamed for the action. This stigmatizes them mentally, physically, and socially. Thus, they are denied the rights of liberty, dignity, safety, and freedom. These subjugations impact the health of women adversely. In several parts of the world, they are subjected to female genital mutilation, scarring them for life. Now, there is a pie chart which shows various causes of women's subjugation. This can be understood by looking at the various reasons of it. If we talk about the type of violence which the women encounters, we find that physical violence tops the chart. That is, the number of cases, number of women who are facing physical violence is maximum, followed by sexual violence, then economic, and then psychological violence. The rape rate is also quite high in certain countries like America, like some countries of South America, though it is not that high in India, but unfortunately women, all the victims, are the ones punished for rape, and this is a very extreme form of erosion of human rights. The female genital mutilation rates are also very high in certain parts of Africa, though fortunately in India it is rare. Rights to marriage with consent, privacy, and right to equality. In countries with male domination, girls are married without consent or just a token consent. Many of them are married as little girls as young as the age of 8 to 10 years of age, which is basically child marriage. Child marriage violates girls' basic human rights. When girls are forced to marry, they often drop out of school. They face serious health complications and even death from early pregnancy and childbearing. The problem is also prevalent to some extent even in developed countries like USA. Very often these girls are married to men much older than them, who have had several sex encounters, exposing them to HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases. India has 47% of girls being married before the age of 18 years. As per UNFPA, 140 million girls will be child brides between 2011 and 2020. Now, what are the steps that need to be taken addressing women's health and rights? Addressing women's health and rights requires the involvement of a variety of sectors. It requires the involvement of a variety of government ministries and national partners. A multi-sectoral approach that involves various government ministries as well as other government and non-governmental actors is therefore key to achieving effective implementation of the human rights principle related to health. Change of mindset should be aimed out by bringing awareness of the problems, making, imposing, and strictly implementing laws and policies ensuring that women are not discriminated against. Laws should be based on the latest research and knowledge, and they should be strictly enforced. Policies should address violence against women, including sexual abuse and rape. Provision should be made to prohibit female genital mutilation, child marriage, and other harmful traditional practices. There should be gender sensitive training to healthcare workers and others. Provision should be made to provide women access to healthcare services that are safe, of good quality, affordable, and readily available throughout their life cycles. Appropriate maternity services and aftercare should be ensured. Proper communication, grievance redressal, and inquiry procedures should be ensured, and also access to contraceptive procedures and prohibition of sex selective abortion should be ensured. Progress in all directions should be monitored. Provision should be made to prohibit discrimination in jobs and ensure that occupational hazards are catered to. Above all, we have to ensure that all women are educated and there are no school dropouts, as knowledge is power. The objective of this module is thus to make the reader understand how human rights are enshrined into the basic needs of the health of women world over. Violation of these rights is a perpetual problem in most parts of the world, in one form or the other, and how grave the consequences are for the individual, for the society, and for the countries, as well as the future generations. Effectively ensuring women's human rights requires a comprehensive understanding of the underlying societal structures and power relations that define and influence women's ability to enjoy their human rights. Our goal should thus be to modify the social and cultural patterns of conduct of men and women to ensure equality and parity of both sexes in all respects for ensuring healthy lifestyles of individuals and their progeny. To conclude, we can say that every human being, whether a man or a woman, has a right to live a free and happy life, to live with dignity and freedom. World bodies like the United Nations have defined a number of rights, especially for women. The constitution of each nation guarantees most of these human rights to its citizens, and special provisions are made for women. Denial of such rights to women not only affects their peace, freedom, and happiness, but it also affects the health of women, often jeopardizing it in ways that may lead to lifelong morbidity or mortality. It is thus extremely important to ensure and take steps to preserve women's rights and thus their health. Thank you.